Hello, I'm Mike Troy, editor of Retail Leader. We're here at the FMI Midwinter Executive Conference in the Progressive Grocer Retail Leader live video studio. I'm joined by Glenn Hartman, Senior Vice President, Channel Business Development at Starbucks.
Right.
Welcome.
Yeah, glad to be here.
What Starbucks drink did you have this morning? How did you start your day?
Well, I had a iced venti Americano. I love the sweetness of our espresso, and I just felt like a cold drink this morning, so that's espresso over ice.
All right, I'll have to try that.
A little bit of water, so it's like a sweeter, richer iced coffee, if you will.
Yeah. So obviously there's a ton of stuff going on at Starbucks. You guys have a lot of initiatives, growth initiatives, you name it, all across the board, worldwide and everywhere. But part of the area that you wanted to talk about today is sustainability, some of the key things that you're doing in that area with growers and economic development and some of those topics. So let's start with that and just touch on a few of the key things, and we can kind of dive in from there.
Yeah, I think it all starts with a statement that Howard asked a few years ago at our shareholder meeting.
And Howard being?
Howard Schultz, our CEO.
Yeah, I knew that.
He asked, what is the role and responsibility for a for-profit company? And if you dwell on that for a moment, what he's saying is, of course, fundamentally, we have a responsibility to shareholders. But there's more. And I think, when you talk about what we're trying to do from, a sustainability area, it starts with our farmers that we work with. And we have a practice called Cafe Practices, which is coffee and farmer equity. And it's a very detailed program that ensures that not only are we getting the best quality beans, but we're treating our farmers in a very fair and ethical way, and that they have sustainable livelihoods, and that we're helping them be more productive in their farms. And it's something where we've got support centers across the world where we work with farmers. And by the way, we don't just keep it to Starbucks. We're willing to share that with everybody. And I think that says a lot about how Starbucks, it's not just about the profit, but it's about the people that we're working with. And that extends into what we do with our partners, which are our employees. And
before we go there,
yeah.
I'm interested in the farming thing. So how that works with, how are you getting out in the field and sharing best practices with the farmer in, I don't know all the coffee growing
Costa
regions,
Rica,
but,
Brazil, Asia.
I mean, do those best practices transfer around the world with
They do, but it's a little different. Coffee's a lot like wine. The elevation and the type of soil that you have will impact the type of bean that you will generate for coffee. But there's diseases, so things like rust that come in that can devastate crops and bankrupt a family. And we're working with farmers and researching how we combat things like rust in a very natural way without harsh chemicals. And again, everything that we do, we share openly in the industry, so that others can learn from us, so that we can help farmers across the world with their crops. So not just for Starbucks, but we think if all farmers do better and we produce better coffee, that's good for everybody. And we think we produce the best coffee in the world, so we'll benefit from that.
There you go. So some of what you're describing it's hard for a consumer to see. I mean, people know generally Starbucks has an excellent reputation, but how do you translate that then into, say, the aisle of a store when someone's making a choice of, there's a lot of different options there. How does that work? How you work with your trading partners to convey that?
That's what I think about every day. And we have across the world 300,000 baristas that wear the green apron, and they're out telling their stories inside the cafe. And our responsibility in channel development is to find ways to be able to tell those stories down the aisle. Now that's difficult, where you have just blank shelves and packages sitting on those shelves. And we have, you know, an initiative we call Signature Aisle, where we're able to bring in some elements of the cafe and our shelving and how we display the product and how we portray it. And our shopper marketing programs provide communication. And that brings elements of the cafe into it, because that's really what the brand is about. The brand, we have a great product,
Yeah.
but our brand is really our experience. And bringing that down the aisle is our biggest challenge, and it's something that is rather unique in the
Can you
CPG
call that
industry.
signature aisle?
Signature aisle.
What does that look like? I don't think I've seen that.
Well, it's a wooden, literally a wooden shelving piece, and we're doing various versions of it to better meet the needs of retailers. You know, Kroger probably has the most. I think we've got, I don't know, 400 or so there, and we're on our way to a lot more. Where in the biggest stores, you'll have these units, and it brings the element of the cafe in there, and there'll be some information, and you just feel like you're in a Starbucks. There's a siren there, and we know from our research that not only does this help Starbucks, because it's our responsibility, but it helps retailers. In fact, we see other coffees do better well, and the whole category lifts up. And it's a major initiative for us, and it's something I love to do because it's at the heart of the brand. It's how do we bring the experience into the grocery aisles, into the Walmarts of the world, and we don't have any in Walmart right now, but just that whole, that's the quest. Beyond just obviously delivering the revenue and profit and take care of partners, how do we preserve, protect, and enhance the Starbucks brand?
Because it's always been about, Starbucks was a company before experience. Experiential was the hot buzzword in the industry. That was you know, Starbucks was built on delivering people an experience.
Absolutely, 100%. You do the research, you find. You know, I joined Starbucks a little over 4 years ago, and you know, I fell in love with this company because of the baristas I ran into in the store. They taught me about iced venti Americanos. I didn't know what that was. And you just fall in love with how the company treats you, the product it has, and what it's about. It's more than just a company that's trying to make money, although every for-profit company has to make profit. And it's just really inspirational to work for a company like that.
That's awesome. So experience is one thing. Personalization is another area where Starbucks was early. You think about you get behind the line and somebody's ordering a crazy drink with a half foam, extra hot, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a lot of the personalization phenomenon. Is there a way to bring that into the aisle too?
Well, we're certainly trying. We're bringing what we would call cafe-inspired drinks. We just recently introduced lattes down the aisle, and Starbucks latte has been very successful. Some core SKUs that are in there every day, like caramel, latte, mocha. And around the holiday, we had a pumpkin spice latte that ended up being our #1 SKU during that period of time. So, and during the holidays, we have our holiday blend, and so we're able to work with retailers to continue to bring that down the aisle.
Do you mine the data that you get from the cafes and the baristas to determine what those flavors ought to be?
We certainly do. We're very our cafe data is proprietary, but we certainly get the insights in the data, and we leverage that with some other research that we would do. But certainly, the principle of cafe-inspired drinks, what can we bring down the aisle, is something that just makes a lot of sense.
Oh. So a cafe-inspired drink being a latte, it's still the ground product that's flavored like a latte that I would get in a store.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that that's just amazing at Starbucks is it has to have Starbucks quality. It can't be artificial. It's got to have that flavor that is super close to the cafe. I mean, if you're using a K-cup, which is what this is, it's not quite going to be like you're going to get in the cafe. But boy, we're trying to get real close. And so we know that K-cups are more for convenience, and we know that if you really want to have that full experience, you want to go to our cafe and you want to get the fresh beverage prepared there. But if you can't do that, our K-cups are pretty good.
And you can feel good about it because of the work that you're doing with farmers and
Absolutely.
sustainability on that side of things.
Absolutely.
How do you convey that information to your trading partners so they know? Because, retailers want to work with the right companies on these things, and you've got a communication issue, not issue, but you want them to know how active you are in that area.
Well, we're doing that here at FMI. We actually have before we even get into business, you come into our room and we've got a huge poster board. It's about the size of this. It's about our Pike Street Place original cafe. So you walk in, we want you to know that this is inspired by everything that started there. And we serve coffee. And then we lead you to a video where we talk about our social responsibility and the things that we're doing with farmers in the community. Short, it's maybe not even 5 minutes.
Okay.
But that way, before we even get into business, we want our retailers to know you're working with a different kind of company. That's not to knock others, there's good companies out there, but this is a special company. And we see our role and responsibility beyond just for profit. So we want you to know that. And the meetings have gone fantastic because there just isn't anybody that doesn't enjoy just that 5 minutes to think about, I'm in a different place. And it doesn't hurt to serve Starbucks coffee.
There you go.
We had some of the Kroger executives pop. I said, "Can we just have a cup of coffee real quick?" I said, "Come on in."
All right, nice. Well, this is great. Thanks for the update on all the things that are going on at Starbucks. Appreciate you coming by.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn.
You bet.
All right, thanks.